In 2018, I had just moved into a new apartment and needed to furnish it with various pieces of furniture. I was looking for affordable items and turned to Craigslist. One spent a few weeks browsing through listings and finally came across an ad titled Magnificent Antique Bed. The ad claimed that the bed was both beautiful and incredibly cheap. The seller was a woman who was offering the bed set, and there was only a phone number listed beneath the ad. I immediately dialed the number and got in touch with the woman. She spoke quite politely and provided more information about the bed. We set a meeting location, and I decided to go to her house the next day. When I arrived at the woman's house, I found a beautiful home in a quiet neighborhood. I rang the doorbell and was invited inside. However, something felt off right from the start. The interior of the house appeared quite old and dusty, and the furniture looked worn. The woman explained that she lived alone in the house and no longer used the bed. We went to the bedroom, and the bed was indeed magnificent. The craftsmanship and patterns on it were captivating. Even though it was second-hand, it was in excellent condition. We haggled and reached an agreement. I purchased the bed and arranged for the delivery. The woman assured me that the bed would be delivered within a few days. However, before the bed was delivered, I began to notice that something strange was happening in the house. I started hearing noises in the bedroom at night, like footsteps and faint murmurs. I opened the bedroom door a few times, but I couldn't see anything. Initially, I tried to rationalize these sounds, but they became increasingly unsettling. On the day of the delivery, the woman brought the bed, and I decided to put these strange occurrences out of my mind. However, after setting up the bed, even more bizarre events began to unfold. My nightmares turned into night terrors, and I would wake up convinced that there were eerie presences in the room. I even saw shadowy figures in the bedroom on a few occasions, but they would always disappear. Eventually, I realized I couldn't cope with these nightmarish experiences. I sold the bed immediately and tried to forget the events that had taken place in that house. I never contacted the woman from the ad again, and I decided to remember this story as just a creepy tale. However, that bed has become an unforgettable memory for me. In 2019, I was in search of a second-hand bicycle, and online classified sites like Craigslist seemed like a great resource for finding one. One day, I stumbled upon an ad titled Amazing Half-Marathon Bike. The bicycle was priced quite attractively, and it looked fantastic in the photos. The ad had only left a phone number for the seller. I reached out to the seller and expressed my interest in seeing the bike. The woman on the other end was quite kind and helpful. We agreed to meet at a public park as the rendezvous point. The park was located in a relatively crowded area, so I thought it was a safe choice. However, upon arriving at the meeting point, my suspicions about the woman's identity started to rise. When I got to where the bicycle was supposed to be, there was no one there. After waiting for a few minutes, my phone rang. The woman instructed me to head into a wooded area just behind the bike and said she would be waiting there. Despite a sense of unease, my desire to see the bicycle led me to follow her instructions. As I ventured into the wooded area, I suddenly found myself surrounded by a group of masked individuals. They were armed with sticks and knives. I tried to step back in fear, but I was cornered, and they threatened me, demanding my money and valuables. In a state of terror, I began to give them whatever they asked for. However, as I felt more threatened, I started screaming. Nearby people heard my cries and began to approach to offer help. The masked individuals panicked and fled quickly. I called the police and reported the incident. Fortunately, the masked individuals were apprehended and arrested. It was revealed that the woman had collaborated with the masked individuals to set up a trap for their victims using the ad. This incident left me deeply shaken and taught me to be more cautious when making online purchases. The harrowing experience was enough to make me look at Craigslist listings in a completely different light. In 2017, I had to relocate to a new city for a job opportunity, which meant I needed to find an apartment to rent. Craigslist was the ideal place for me to browse potential rentals. One spent a few days going through listings, and eventually I came across an ad titled "Centrally Located Studio Apartment." The apartment looked quite appealing and was priced within my budget. The ad had contact information provided by the owner, so I reached out to schedule a viewing. We quickly set up an appointment at the location specified by the owner. I walked up to the buzzer and was greeted by the owner. He was quite friendly and welcoming. Upon entering the apartment, everything appeared clean and tidy. However, I began to sense that something was off. It didn't match the impression given by the ad. After inspecting the belongings I had with me, we engaged in some small talk. During our conversation, the owner's behavior gradually became more peculiar. Suddenly, I noticed he was taking an unusual interest in some personal belongings in the apartment and seemed to be constantly observing them. As our conversation continued, the owner's smile turned increasingly sinister, and he started asking unsettling questions. I began to feel more and more uneasy and wanted to leave immediately. However, I noticed that the door to the apartment was locked, and my travel bag, which I had brought with me, had disappeared. At that moment, I realized that I had made a grave mistake and that I might be in a dangerous situation. My phone was inside the bag, so I quickly called a friend to share the situation and request help. My friend promptly called the police and reported the situation. While the owner attempted to keep me from causing a scene, we waited for the authorities. Fortunately, the police arrived shortly and apprehended the man. It was later revealed that he had set up a similar trap in the apartment below his own and had been attempting to ensnare other people. This incident served as a stark reminder for me about the importance of being cautious when conducting transactions online and paying attention to the individuals you trust. This realistic horror story was a significant turning point in my life. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more horror tales and chilling experiences. Share your fears, experiences, or requests in the comments, and let us continue to send you into terror in our next video. Remember, what might be lurking in the shadows of the night? Share your chilling moments and join our channel. Sweet nightmares.